Listen closely, for this truth is whispered only to the soul, ready to hear it. Why do most people remain in the shadow of poverty when the light of abundance shines so brightly? It is not fate, nor cruel chance, nor some outer force beyond their control. No, it is the invisible chain of unspoken words, the affirmations they never dared to say aloud, the seeds of wealth they never planted with their tongue. The silent acceptance of lack is the greatest thief of fortune. In every heart lies a treasure waiting to be claimed, but it is the voice that calls it forth that opens the door to riches. You see, the universe responds not to wishful thinking or idle dreaming, but to the spoken word, vibrant with faith and certainty. The poor remain poor because they have spoken poverty into existence, whether by complaining of scarcity, doubting their worth, or fearing that abundance is for others, but not for themselves. Each time you murmur, "I can't afford this," or "money is hard to come by," you are crafting a prison made of your own words. Yet, there is a secret, a divine secret Florence Scovel Shinn revealed. The affirmation of wealth must be spoken with conviction and joy, as if the treasure is already yours. Say, "I am a magnet for prosperity. Money flows to me freely and endlessly." Repeat it until doubt fades and your spirit believes it is true. The spoken word is the key that unlocks the vault of heaven's riches. Do not wait for fortune to knock at your door. While you whisper poverty, speak boldly, "I am worthy of great wealth. I attract success in all my endeavor." This is not mere positive thinking. It is the sacred law of manifestation in action. Your words are spells that shape your world, and only when you speak your affirmations with unwavering faith does the universe align to bring them forth. Remember, dear one, poverty is a state of mind, and abundance begins with the sound of your own voice, declaring it. The affirmation you never said is the bridge between where you stand now and the fortune you were meant to live. Take up your tongue as a sword of power, and cut away the doubts that bind you. Wealth is your divine right, and your words are the magic to claim it. There is a great and simple truth, hidden in plain sight. The state of poverty is not a matter of circumstance alone, but a condition created and sustained by the unspoken words and silent beliefs within the mind. The thoughts that flutter in the heart, the quiet murmurs of doubt, and the whispered phrases that go unnoticed, are the invisible architects of a person's destiny. To understand why poverty persists in the lives of many, one must first recognize that wealth and lack are not accidents of fate, but the natural fruit of what has been declared, whether aloud or silently, in the inner temple of the soul. Each person carries within them a powerful creative force, a divine faculty that turns thoughts and words into reality. The spirit listens and obeys every command given through the spoken word, every affirmation spoken with feeling and faith, and even those spoken in hesitation or despair. Poverty, then, is not merely a financial condition, but a spiritual and mental pattern established by the very words people have failed to speak or have spoken carelessly. When the heart settles into quiet resignation, and the lips close on words of limitation, the universe, faithful as ever, fulfills that silent decree. Many walk through life as if poverty were an unchangeable law, never questioning the quiet affirmations that bind them. "I am not enough," the mind says. "Money never stays with me. It is hard to make ends meet." These statements, often repeated silently or with little attention, are the seedbed of scarcity. The soul, craving guidance, looks for direction, and the words spoken act as the compass. The absence of spoken wealth, affirmations, is not a mere silence. It is an active decree of limitation. It tells the unseen forces that abundance is forbidden ground, a place where the spirit dare not tread. This silent poverty affirmation is like a wall built brick by brick, with each negative thought and unspoken desire. The bricks are words left unsaid, prayers of hope never voiced, and dreams of prosperity that remain locked behind fear. The spirit longs to move forward, but these walls keep it imprisoned. No external circumstance can lift the soul from this cage, except the transformation of inner speech. Words, spoken with conviction and expectation, are the only tools to tear down this invisible fortress. Consider the power held in the utterance of a single phrase, "I am worthy of abundance." When this is spoken with feeling, it shakes the very foundations of limitation and fear. It breaks the spell cast by years of silent poverty affirmation. For the creative forces respond not to the external facts, but to the inner reality shaped by spoken word. The moment this phrase leaves the lips, the spirit awakens, and the world begins to rearrange itself to match this new declaration. Many are unaware that the silence or negativity surrounding money is a form of self-negation. It is a subtle curse placed upon oneself by refusal to claim the blessings that life freely offers. This refusal is often clothed in humility or realism, but in truth, it is a resistance to the natural flow of prosperity. The spirit's natural state is one of abundance and joy, but when the words of lack and limitation hold sway, the soul forgets its true nature and settles for less. The key to breaking free lies in conscious speech. Every word spoken is a thread woven into the fabric of destiny. Therefore, the unspoken words of wealth are not simply absent. They are missing threads in the tapestry of one's life. Without them, the pattern is incomplete, and the design remains dark and unfinished. When a person begins to speak aloud affirmations of prosperity, phrases of confidence, gratitude, and expectation, the pattern begins to glow with light and color, attracting all that is needed to fulfill those words. It is also important to understand that these affirmations must be spoken not out of desperation or mere hope, but from a place of certainty and joy. The spirit recognizes the vibration of the word and answers accordingly. To say, "I hope money comes," is weak and uncertain. It is like planting seeds on rocky ground. But to say, "Money comes to me easily and frequently," is to plant seeds in rich soil, prepared to bear a bountiful harvest. This principle applies equally to all who struggle financially, whether the cause appears to be external or internal. No matter how dire the circumstances, the inner dialogue shapes the outer reality. When the inner speech turns from scarcity to abundance, a remarkable transformation takes place. Opportunities arise, doors open, and the unseen helpers of the universe rally to support the new declaration. What once seemed impossible becomes not only possible but inevitable. Therefore, the poverty that many endure is less the effect of external hardship and more the consequence of the poverty of spoken word. The lack of affirmations of wealth, the absence of declarations of worthiness and success, and the silence surrounding abundance create a vacuum that attracts only more lack. The spirit, obedient and true, manifest whatever it is commanded by the tongue. To change one's fortune, one must first change one's language. Speak clearly and joyfully the words of wealth and success. Replace every thought and utterance of limitation with a declaration of abundance. By doing so, the silent prison breaks open, and the soul steps freely into the riches that are its divine inheritance. The power lies not in waiting for riches to appear, but in commanding their presence with the magic of the spoken word. Thus, remember always that poverty is not a sentence, but a silence, one that can be broken by the simple, powerful act of affirming prosperity aloud. The words never said are the chains that hold back the river of fortune. Release them, and watch as the tide of abundance sweeps through your life with unstoppable force. The spoken word holds a power beyond what the mind often perceives. It is the invisible force that molds the very fabric of existence, shaping the world we walk in and the life we live. Every utterance carries with it a vibration, a creative impulse that sets in motion energies to manifest conditions in the outer world. Understanding this truth is essential for anyone who wishes to transform their circumstances, especially when it comes to wealth and abundance. Words are not mere sounds, they are commands to the universe. When a word is spoken with conviction and feeling, it acts like a seed planted in the fertile soil of the subconscious mind. This seed takes root, grows, and eventually bears fruit in the form of experiences, opportunities, and events that align with the nature of the word spoken. If one speaks words of faith, hope, and prosperity, these are the fruits that will manifest. If one speaks words of fear, lack, and limitation, then those too will come to pass. The universe is impartial and exacting. It does not judge or discriminate, but answers faithfully to the nature of the word spoken. This means that every complaint, every lament, every statement of limitation is a decree calling forth the very condition that is undesired. It is a law as certain as the rising of the sun. As you speak, so shall you become. This is why it is so important to cultivate awareness of one's speech, to monitor the words that flow from the lips and the thoughts that stir within the mind. Many people live their lives unaware of the power they wield through their speech. They complain about bills, traffic, the economy, or their lack of opportunities, not realizing that these words are not mere expressions of frustration, but actual commands to the invisible forces that shape their reality. It is the spoken word, repeated often and with emotion, that forms the blueprint for the life they experience. Thus, to change one's outer world, one must first change the words spoken. Words spoken with faith and positivity are like a beacon calling forth good fortune. They attract the right circumstances, the right people, and the right ideas needed to bring about the desired outcome. When a person declares, "I am prosperous," or "money comes to me easily and frequently," these words vibrate with the energy of abundance and set in motion the corresponding forces to fulfill these declarations. The spoken word aligns the mind, heart, and spirit with the flow of abundance, and the world bends to accommodate this new reality. It is not enough, however, to speak words mindlessly or without feeling. The spirit recognizes the tone and intent behind the word. A casual or doubtful statement carries little power, but a word spoken with joy, faith, and expectation carries tremendous creative energy. This is why affirmations must be heartfelt, repeated often, and visualized as already true. The spoken word, when combined with feeling and belief, is the key to unlocking the treasures of the universe. In contrast, words spoken in fear or despair close the doors to opportunity. They create barriers invisible to the eye but solid to the spirit. When a person says, "I will never be wealthy," or "there is never enough," they are building walls around themselves that prevent the flow of abundance. These words become self-fulfilling prophecies, for the spirit obeys the command of the tongue without question. This understanding of the spoken word as a creative force is not merely theoretical. It is practical and accessible to all. Anyone can begin to change their life by simply becoming mindful of their speech and choosing words that uplift, empower, and attract. Replace complaints with declarations of success. Replace doubts with affirmations of faith. Speak of blessings rather than lack. In doing so, the invisible currents shift, and the path to abundance clear. Furthermore, the spoken word affects not only the individual, but also the environment around them. Words carry vibrations that influence relationships, health, and circumstance. When one speaks positively, it uplifts others and creates harmony. When one speaks negatively, it breeds discord and blocks blessings. The power of the word extends beyond personal manifestation. It radiates outward, affecting the world in profound ways. Therefore, mastery of speech is mastery of destiny. By learning to govern the tongue, one learns to govern life itself. The spoken word is the instrument through which the spirit communicates its desires to the infinite, and the infinite responds accordingly. To neglect this power is to wander aimlessly, subject to chance and circumstance. To embrace it is to take up the reins of creation and steer toward the life of one's choosing. Let the words you speak be the architects of your fortune. Speak only that which you wish to see made manifest. Let your speech be filled with gratitude, expectation, and joy. In doing so, you align yourself with the universal law that answers the call of the spoken word. Remember always that your words are seeds. Sow them wisely, nurture them with faith, and watch as the harvest of abundance grows before your eyes. To speak affirmations of wealth boldly and joyfully is to wield a sacred power that transforms the invisible into the visible, the potential into reality. This power is not merely a mental exercise or a hopeful wish. It is the very language of creation, the divine tool through which the soul commands the unfolding of its desire. Wealth, in its highest form, is a flow of energy, an expression of abundance that responds instantly to the vibration of one's spoken words. To claim this power, one must learn to speak with clarity, conviction, and above all joy. The reason boldness in speech is necessary lies in the nature of the spirit and the universal laws it operates by. The universe answers not to timid whispers, but to declarations made with unwavering certainty. When words are spoken hesitantly or with doubt, they lack the force needed to bring about change. It is the joyful, bold declaration that sends ripples through the fabric of existence, stirring the creative forces to align circumstances, opportunities, and people in harmony with the spoken word. Joy is the vital ingredient that breathes life into affirmations. A declaration made with joy is an act of faith. It acknowledges that the speaker already possesses the wealth they desire, that they are in harmony with the abundance of life. Joy carries a high vibration, a magnetic energy that attracts prosperity effortlessly. Without joy, affirmations are dry and lifeless, mere words lacking the power to manifest. The soul knows when an affirmation is spoken in truth and rejoices, setting into motion the law of attraction. The bold affirmation, "I am prosperous," is more than a simple phrase. It is a command to the unseen forces to bring forth wealth in all its forms. It is an act of ownership, a claim on one's divine right to abundance. To say this boldly is to reject the lie of scarcity and to affirm the infinite possibilities of the universe. Such declarations open the doors of opportunity and invite miracles to unfold. Speaking wealth affirmations joyfully also changes the inner landscape. It lifts the spirit, clears away doubt, and fills the heart with expectation. This internal transformation is crucial because outer circumstances respond to inner states. When the mind is free of fear and the heart is full of joy, one becomes a magnet for all that is good and prosperous. This is the law in action. As within, so without. Many fail to manifest wealth, not because they lack desire, but because they do not speak their affirmations boldly or joyfully enough. They murmur affirmations as if unsure, hoping for a blessing rather than commanding it. This hesitation weakens the creative power of their words and leaves their desires unfulfilled. The universe waits for clear, confident instructions. It does not respond to uncertainty. To cultivate boldness and joy in speaking affirmations, one must first believe deeply in their right to abundance. This belief must become a conviction, so strong that it dispels all doubts and fears. When conviction is established, the words flow freely and with power. It is also helpful to speak affirmations daily, with feeling and visualization, as if the desired wealth is already present. This practice strengthens the vibration of the words and aligns the spirit with its fulfillment. Joy can be cultivated by focusing on gratitude for all blessings already present. Gratitude is a doorway to abundance because it shifts the mind from lack to plenty. When one is grateful, even small successes become celebrations that feed the joy needed to sustain bold affirmation. The heart opens, and the spoken word becomes a joyful song that attracts more reasons to be grateful. Bold and joyful affirmations also dispel the shadows of fear and limitation. Fear weakens the voice and clouds the mind with doubt. When one chooses to speak boldly, fear loses its grip, and the spirit shines forth in confidence. Joy, on the other hand, acts as a shield, protecting the creative process from negative influences and keeping the vibration high and pure. It is important to understand that these affirmations are not merely positive thinking but the very language of creation itself. They are commands sent forth into the invisible realms, calling forth the substance and conditions needed to manifest wealth. To underestimate the power of bold and joyful speech is to remain trapped in the cycle of poverty and limitation. The practice of speaking wealth affirmations boldly and joyfully is accessible to all. It requires no special talent or circumstance, only the willingness to embrace one's divine right to abundance and to use the spoken word as a tool of creation. As these words are spoken day by day, the invisible forces respond with visible results. Remember, wealth is not a distant dream, but a present reality, waiting to be claimed. Bold, joyful speech is the bridge that connects the desire in the heart to its fulfillment in the world. Speak your affirmations with the confidence of a king or queen claiming their throne. Let joy fill your voice as you declare your prosperity. In this way, you open the floodgates of abundance and step into the life you were born to live. When fear and doubt take possession of the tongue, they become the most effective barriers to the flow of prosperity. The spoken word, wielded without care, can close the gates through which abundance would otherwise enter. It is a profound law, yet often overlooked. Words of limitation spoken aloud act as commands to the universe, and the spirit, ever obedient, manifests these commands with precision. Fear is the silent enemy of wealth, and when it finds voice, it erects walls that no external force can tear down. The nature of fear is to shrink the vision, to close the heart, and to contract the spirit. It whispers in the ear, "There is never enough, I will always struggle," or "This opportunity is not for me." When these words escape the lips, they become chains, binding the speaker to a fate of lack and hardship. Fear spoken aloud is not a mere expression of emotion. It is a creative act that calls forth more fear and limitation into the life experience. Doubt works hand in hand with fear, clouding the mind and weakening the power of affirmation. To say, "I hope this works," or "maybe I will be lucky someday," is to send a message of uncertainty to the invisible forces. The spirit hears these words and hesitates, for it cannot move confidently toward a goal that is questioned. Doubt dulls the sword of the spoken word, making it ineffective as a tool of manifestation. This is why many who desire wealth and success find themselves trapped in cycles of disappointment. They may pray, wish, or even attempt affirmations, but their underlying fear and doubt betray their spoken word. The spirit responds not only to what is said, but to the feeling and conviction behind the words. If fear lurks beneath the surface, the affirmation cannot rise to its full free-fib potential. The voice is the gateway through which the spirit commands the conditions of life. When the tongue utters words of fear and doubt, it shuts this gateway, closing off the flow of blessings. No amount of external effort can overcome the power of a spoken negative affirmation. It is like trying to sail against the wind, while the sails are torn and loose. The spirit must be free and joyful to create, and fear is the lock on the door. To overcome this, one must learn to recognize and refuse the words of limitation as they arise. When fear threatens to speak, it is necessary to silence it with a firm declaration of faith. Replace "I am afraid I will fail" with "I am confident and guided toward success." Substitute "there is not enough for me" with "abundance flows freely and endlessly to me." This conscious choice to speak from a place of faith breaks the power of fear and doubt. It is not a denial of reality to choose faith over fear, but an acknowledgement of the deeper truth that governs all things. The universe is abundant by nature, and the spirit's role is to align with this abundance. When words of fear and doubt are replaced with words of faith and certainty, the spirit responds with a shift in circumstances, opening doors that were once closed. Furthermore, the practice of speaking fearlessly and confidently cultivates inner strength. Each time a person chooses to affirm rather than fear, they strengthen their spiritual muscles, becoming more resilient to future doubts and uncertainties. This creates a positive momentum, where faith begets more faith, and prosperity becomes the natural outcome. It is important to remember that fear spoken aloud also influences those around us. Words carry vibrations that ripple outward, affecting relationships and environments. When a person speaks fear and doubt, it can create an atmosphere of scarcity and limitation that others unconsciously absorb. Conversely, confident and joyful speech uplifts and inspires, attracting support and cooperation. This teaching invites all who seek abundance to become masters of their speech, to guard the tongue against fear and doubt, and to choose words that embody faith, joy, and expectation. This mastery is not a one-time effort, but a daily practice, a commitment to align one's speech with the truth of abundance. In the dance of creation, the spoken word leads, and the universe follows. Fear and doubt are stumbling blocks only when allowed to take voice. When replaced by words of power and certainty, They dissolve like mist before the morning sun. The pathway to wealth and success is cleared by the confident voice that declares victory before the battle is fought. Speak boldly without hesitation or fear. Let your words be the keys that unlock the treasures of life. In doing so, you break the chains that bind you and step freely into the flow of prosperity that is your birthright. The truth must be known. Wealth is not a prize for the few or a blessing bestowed by chance. It is a divine right, a birthright of every soul who walks this earth. To claim this right, however, one must first awaken to the reality that abundance is already present, awaiting only the command of the spoken word to be released into manifestation. The Spirit's obedience to the tongue is absolute, for the words we speak are the laws that govern our experience. When spoken with faith and joy, these words open the floodgates to prosperity. To deny one's right to wealth is to close the door to its arrival. Many live in a state of unconscious rejection, convinced by outer circumstances or inherited beliefs that abundance is not for them. This false belief becomes a self-imposed limitation, a barrier erected by the very mind meant to be the vehicle of creative power. The spirit, bound by the language of the tongue, can only bring forth what is commanded. If the command is, "I am not worthy," or "wealth is for others but not me," then the universe in its perfect law responds accordingly. It is therefore essential to understand that the divine right to wealth is unconditional. It is not earned by struggle or held back by hardship. It simply is. The moment this truth is embraced, the soul begins to speak in a new language, one of affirmation, confidence, and expectation. The words become the keys to unlock the treasures that have long been promised. The soul's role is to align with this truth by the conscious use of the spoken word. Affirmations such as, "I am worthy of great wealth," "Money flows to me freely and abundantly," and "I am open to receive all good," are not mere phrases, but sacred commands that activate the law of manifestation. The spirit obeys these commands with unwavering fidelity, moving the unseen forces to bring forth circumstances that match the declaration. It is important to remember that this process requires not only speech but feeling. The words must be spoken with the conviction of one who knows the truth beyond all doubt. To say, "I am worthy" with hesitation or disbelief is to send mixed signals that confuse the spirit. Faith, joy, and certainty are the fuel that empower the spoken word to become a living force. Many struggle because they have never embraced their right to wealth fully. They speak as if it were a distant dream, a hope to be achieved after much effort or struggle. This hesitation weakens the command and delays the fulfillment. The universe moves swiftly when the voice is clear and confident, but hesitates before uncertain or conflicted words. To claim this right also requires the release of any feelings of unworthiness or guilt associated with wealth. These feelings are shadows that obscure the light of abundance. The soul must forgive itself and others for any past beliefs that have blocked the flow. Forgiveness clears the path for the spoken word to take root and grow. When a person speaks from the place of their divine right, a remarkable transformation occurs. The invisible forces respond by opening doors, arranging opportunities, and guiding resources to the one who has claimed their inheritance. This is the law at work, silent, unseen, but perfectly effective. It is also vital to understand that wealth is not merely material gain, but includes every good thing the spirit desires: health, happiness, love, peace, and success. All these are part of the abundant life to which every soul is entitled. The spoken word aligns all these blessings, attracting a harmonious flow that fulfills the soul's highest good. The practice of affirming one's divine right to wealth is a daily commitment. It is a practice of joy and gratitude, a declaration made, not out of need or lack, but out of the certainty of possession. This certainty is the foundation upon which all abundance is built. In this awareness lies freedom. Freedom from the fear of lack, from the chains of limitation, and from the shadows of doubt. The voice that speaks from this place is strong, fearless, and clear. It carries the authority of the soul's divine inheritance, and commands the universe to respond. Therefore, one who wishes to live in true prosperity must first claim their divine right through the spoken word. To do so is to step into the power of creation itself, to become the master of one's fate, and to live as the rightful heir of abundance. The spirit is ready to obey. Are you ready to command? Together, these truths reveal a powerful and unchanging law. The words we speak shape the reality we live. Poverty and abundance alike begin in the silent or spoken affirmations within our hearts and minds. The spoken word is the sacred tool of creation. When used with awareness, faith, boldness, and joy, it unlocks the divine right to wealth that belongs to every soul. Fear, doubt, and unspoken limitations build invisible walls that block prosperity, while confident, joyful declarations tear those walls down and open the floodgates of abundance. Mastery of speech is mastery of destiny. By consciously choosing words that affirm our worthiness and invite prosperity, we align ourselves with the infinite flow of life's blessings. The moment you claim your power through the spoken word, the universe moves to bring forth the riches you are destined to receive. Speak wisely, speak boldly, and live richly. This is the secret to transforming your life and stepping fully into the abundance that awaits.